Bro. It's one of the most versatile words in the English language. Originally just being a shortened version of the word brother, it's evolved past its original definition into a word that holds multiple meanings, depending on even the smallest of factors. A bro can be your brother, your friend, your dog, inanimate objects, even the girl across the street's a bro. It can be used to convey excitement, anger, disappointment, confusion, simply by changing the tone of how you say it. That said, there's a clear distinction between how we use bro in modern life and how bros are represented in the media. In America, bros are typically very similar to jocks. Buff, sunglasses, tank tops 24/7. But fuck that, this is an anime channel. We're gonna be talking about the bros in anime and what makes them who they are. Truth be told, I didn't know much about the bro archetype. That wasn't until he opened my eyes.
Are you for real?
Ryuji Sakamoto, Persona 5. This man not only became my favorite character in the game, but is also what I think the peak definition of a bro is. Is it bias? Yeah, 100%, it's definitely bias. But that hasn't stopped me before. It was also through Ryuji that I discovered that a good chunk of my favorite characters are bro characters. But what exactly defines a bro? To truly define a bro, I'd argue the character has to have the philosophy of the bro. The brolosophy, if you will. Luckily for us, the philosophy of the bro is a pretty simple one. So let's start with the most common trait. An emphasis on masculinity. Bros don't need to always be complete meatheads, but they typically care about appearing more masculine. Now, don't confuse this for toxic masculinity. A true bro doesn't do that shit. Take a look at Eijiro Kirishima from My Hero Academia. He's always talking about what isn't manly. But it's never disrespectful to others. Bros also tend to be pretty strong, in most cases being the muscle of the group. This isn't a direct requirement, however, as some bros have their strength through sheer dedication to their craft. Take Nishinoya for example. He's not exactly the strongest, but is willing to put himself through high stress and situations to keep his team going. Another common trait is that the bros aren't always the brightest. More often than not, the bro just has a really straightforward way of thinking that typically involves rushing into whatever danger lies ahead of them. This is also caused by the bro's tendency to be hot-headed. This can be seen as the bro's greatest weakness, but in some cases it can actually be their greatest strength. Typically, they'll get worked up very easily over the smallest issues, such as an insult to them or one of their friends. But it's due to this hot-headed, quick-to-the-draw attitude that explains arguably the most important aspect of the bro. The bro will always fight for his friends. Many bros will sit there and take any insult or damage you do to them without a care in the world. But the second you try to hurt one of their allies, whether emotionally or physically, they will fight till they win or fall. Admittedly, some bros aren't up to the self-sacrifice model. It's a very shonen thing, but they will still do all they can to fight for their friends. It is the most endearing trait of the bros. It's what defines their character. Bros are reliable, trustworthy, and will always be there when you're at your worst moments. However, it's also the most concerning trait as a viewer. With many bros choosing to sacrifice themselves, it's highly likely for a bro to die protecting others. A noble way to go for sure, but as a viewer it becomes nerve-wracking knowing that these lovable dorks are the most likely to pass before the series ends. Hey there, post-recording Mike here. While we're in this coincidental time stop, I think it'd be a good time to mention a very important category of bros. The Joe Bros. The Joe Bros are an interesting case. They still carry traits from brolosophy, but they're not always the most ethical, to say the least. The Joe Bros shine from their hot-headedness. However, there's one important factor of the Joe Bros I've yet to mention. There is a metric fuck ton of them. Each part of JoJo contains multiple Joe Bros. While most shows will only have 1 or 2 bro characters, at most, hell, in JoJo sometimes the Joe Bros end up feeling like they're the main character, like Bucciarati or Koichi. Alright, that's about all the time I have for this time stop. Back to the video with a regular recording mic. Now that we've discussed the traits and line philosophy of a bro, what traits block characters from being bros? Being an aggressive rival is the first case of an unworthy bro. Friendly rivals are completely okay, but if the possible bro is trying to stage a grudge match against the main character, he is no longer a qualifier for the position of bro. Secondly, the bro cannot be the main character. This can be seen in the brolosophy, but the bro is meant to protect and support the main character, not be the main character. There are some very rare cases where the main character will have all the bro traits and put their life on the line for their allies, but I don't think it's a bro move. I think that's a captain move. You see, captains have the mentality of going down with their ship. To me, I think there's a distinction between leaders and bros, which is why I don't think main characters can qualify as bros. And finally, we look back at the last and most important trait of the bro. If the possible bro is not willing to fight for their allies or is a coward, then that character isn't a bro, and will never become a bro unless they change that cowardice. So, what was the point of this video? Was it to teach the world about brolosophy? Was it to be able to define what a bro truly is? No, it was for neither of those purposes. It's for a much more personal reason. I just really fucking like bro characters. Like, damn, it is a borderline obsession, and I didn't even notice until I began looking through my top characters in anime. Kirishima, Okuyasu, Blackstar, Todo, Kamina, Nishinoya, and Tanaka are all some of my favorite anime characters, and it's all because they're all bros. Before I continue, you may have noticed that all these characters are from shonens. That doesn't mean bro characters can exist in a slice of life, I just think it's harder to find them, since what character in a slice of life is gonna sacrifice themselves for their friends? If it helps, I think both Toru from Horimiya and Katai from Komi count as solid bros. Do with that what you will. While making this video, I began to see why all these characters were at the top of my list. Being a bro is, well, it's just honorable. Sure, they can be a bit dense at points and not really think about their actions, but they're lovable dumbasses who will always remain loyal. And that loyalty is something I strive for in my life. Genuinely speaking, I think the bro archetype is a large inspiration of the type of person I want to be, to the point where I'm thinking of going to the gym just to work on myself more. For I hope one day I too can join the lineup of bros. Never mind, guys. Those weights are heavy as shit.